what is the definition of abundance? Abundance is quite simple. Having so much of something, you got extra left to share. See, in my world, there's 4 components required for true abundance. The most important one is love. Love. Love is the most important component in the whole hierarchy or structure of abundance. Second most important one is joy. Then comes health. And fourth is wealth. So yes, wealth is a component of abundance, but it's lower down in the ranking. And that's the critical component where people sometimes miss it. But let's for a moment share the principle about wealth. Let's talk about abundance in wealth, but just as a bonus, let's add in love and joy and health. Is that okay? And let's talk about the concept of abundance. So here's the first thing we need to realize. Abundance is a very strange thing. It's got a character of its own. So I'm going to use a little bit of a metaphor. I'm going to use my dog as a metaphor. I've got a dog, her name is Bella, and Bella loves me, and I absolutely love my dog. She's literally like a shadow. Usually when I run these webinars or train or whatever, in my office, I've got a special place for her, a big pillow, and that's where she lies. If I get up, if I go to the bathroom, if I go outside, if I go to the kitchen for a glass of water, it doesn't matter what I do, this dog stays in my shadow. She loves me to bits, and she's my baby. She's always with me, and she loves being with me. She loves being around me. She loves being in my presence. And whenever I give her love, she just embraces it and she shares the love with me. She loves being patted. She loves kisses. I don't kiss her on the mouth always, but you know, the way you sort of treat a dog or a pet that you love. But here's the strangest thing about it. If I get up quickly and I run towards her, what do you think happens? She gets frightened and she runs away. Because there's something in my behavior that scares her, that makes her not want to be in my presence, that makes her want to get away from me. Even though you love abundance, even though abundance loves you, abundance in all areas, love, joy, health, wealth, the moment you get up quickly and you start chasing it, it's going to run. It's going to run away. So I want you to think about a butterfly. It's just come out of a very dark space, which is called a cocoon. And before the cocoon phase, it used to be a caterpillar. And now this beautiful butterfly, which is technically nothing else but the magnificent, awesome flowering of a caterpillar into its full glory and awesomeness. Think about this butterfly when it comes out of its shell, out of its cocoon. What it literally does, and here's the key, guys, it opens its wings. It embraces what it is, the new skills, capabilities, the magnificence it has. But it embraces it without knowing the outcome. It is a blind embrace. It is a full submersion into complete trust, into complete vulnerability, into complete unknown of who and what it is. See, as it came out of the cocoon, on an intellectual level, logically, it didn't realize it's a butterfly. It just noticed the strange things in the back. And in submission of trust, it opens the wings. Abundance then manifests, because now it has the opportunity to fly, to go places it's never gone before, to do things it's never done before, to embrace a life on a completely different level that has never ever really been able to embrace. So how does that compare to us humans? You see, when we come out of a cocoon, when we are given the gifts of amazing possibility, which is called abundance, when we are given a gift of love, when we are given a gift of joy, when we're given a gift of health, In fact, sometimes when we're given a gift of wealth, we are so scared by it because we do not know what to do with it. So what do? Very simplistically, we don't submit to it, open our wings, spread out, and embrace. We try and go back to what we know, which is nothing else but being a caterpillar. And from that platform of understanding, we now try and chase greatness. To step into a life of true abundance, we cannot chase abundance, we cannot chase money, we cannot chase love, we cannot chase joy. All these things, we chase it runs away. We cannot not accept who and what we are. We need to fully embrace ourselves, who we are, our talents, our gifts, our magnificence. We need to open ourselves in vulnerability to be able to step into a role of true magnificence, of true abundance. Now, this might sound like a big philosophy, but let's take it a bit practical, because some of you guys like being extremely practical. Let's take the principle of abundance and we relate it to a concept of love. There could be some people on this platform that you haven't been experiencing as much love in your life as you want to. So what do a lot of people do that has a lack of love in their lives? Well, quite simple. They start chasing it. But what platform do they chase it from? You see, they chase it from a platform of which the brain remembers how and where they had love the last time. So if you haven't had love in the last 10 years, most probably what you're going to do is you're going to act in a certain way in which you acted probably about 10 years ago. But your life has gone through a metamorphosis. You're not a caterpillar anymore, you're now a butterfly. You've changed, you've got new gifts, you've got new talents, you've got new abilities. But you take a step back to the caterpillar stage, and now from that platform, you want to chase something glorious. But here's another secret. You see, a caterpillar does not need what a butterfly needs. A caterpillar cannot eat what a butterfly eats. Caterpillar cannot experience the things a butterfly can experience. Butterfly eats different foods and experiences different. The state you are in at the moment is a sufficient state for you to experience full abundance in every area of your life. The key is to accept that you have changed in your life. You have new capabilities, new skills, new beautiful awesomeness to you. And you need to embrace it from that platform, not chase it from the previous platform. You see, if you want love in your life now, you need to find love that matches who and what you are at the moment. If the caterpillar wants conversation, it talks to other caterpillars. If the butterfly wants conversation and has a social network, it cannot communicate with caterpillars anymore. They won't understand it. There's going to be a complete misconception about the communication style. But a butterfly can communicate with a butterfly. Just because for most of your life you've been able to communicate with other caterpillars doesn't mean as a butterfly you're still going to be able to. Now what happens is we get desperate. So what do? We just try harder. We put in more energy. We put in more effort. We do it with more enthusiasm and more energy and more effort and more energy and more effort. And we eventually start spiraling into this anxious state of becoming needy, becoming tiring, exhausting to those around us. Think about a little butterfly. It wants to mingle with the old caterpillars. And it thinks for some reason these old caterpillars can still understand it. And it's fluttering all around, it's running in between. You know what it's going to do? It's actually going to be scaring them away. They're going to be petrified of it. They're going to think, what is wrong with this weird creature called a butterfly? Because they don't even know what a butterfly is. But if the butterfly can accept its role in this world, if the butterfly can make peace with the gifts it has, with its own personal magnificence, then it can step into its true role. And only then can it start embracing and experiencing true abundance. What about areas of joy? What about wealth? What about money? Dion, I want more money. Don't talk about love. Don't talk about joy. Don't talk about, I want more money. That's why I'm here tonight. I want more money. How do I get abundance of money? Same rule applies. You see, the way you generated income a year ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, those rules don't apply today anymore. I want to say that again, those rules don't apply anymore. You cannot stay stuck in the same behavioral patterns you have that you were in 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I ran this business. I already started this company. But for me to be able to live in abundance and have a consistency of income and an income stream that's enough for me to share, to be in a state of abundance, I had to continuously adapt and adopt. But every single time I have to adapt and adopt, I need to listen to this carefully. I need to adapt and adopt into a new environment that I have never experienced before. I have to step out of a comfort zone, apply courage, and do something else that I've never done before. I have to open myself up, become vulnerable to potential external influences, and trust. See, one of the golden keys about abundance in any area of life is number one, don't chase it. It's going to run away. It's going to be faster than you. Have you ever tried chasing money? See, money is always faster than you. Money and water has got exactly the same characteristic. If you try and grab it with your hand, you're not going to be able to. It's going to run through your fingers. If you try and step into a river, there's an old beautiful saying that says you can only step into the same river once. Because as you put your foot in the river, because of the movement of the water, it's technically not the same river anymore once you put your foot down again the second time. It's constantly going through a change. The world we live in is constantly going through a change. What we try and do very often, because we want more health, we want more wealth, we want more abundance, we want more money, we want more of this, we want more of that. What we tend to do is we chase it as if we are capable of catching it. It is almost like you're trying to catch a river with your hands. It sounds a bit ridiculous when I say it in that way. So how do you experience true abundance? Well, if there's a river in front of you, how are you going to truly experience the river? Very easy. You're going to submerge yourself in it. You're not going to fight it. You're not going to try and catch it. You're going to allow it to do and take you with a little bit of adjusting, tweaking, changing, adaptation, constant movement of adaptation to your environment. You're going to allow it to take you downstream and you're going to swim with the river. That's how you're going to survive in it. Abundance is not something that can be caught, nor challenged, nor grabbed, nor fought. It has to be something, and this is an internal subconscious switch that needs to change, in which you embrace, humble yourself, step in, trust, but constantly tweak, adjust. The word is adaptation, which is something which is amazing about human nature. We've got the ability to constantly adapt. If we're rigid, think about this. If you're rigid and you get into a river, what's going to happen? You're going to drown. You're going to sink to the bottom. If you are flexible and constantly adapting, changing, what's going to happen? You're going to have a beautiful swim down the river. Abundance works in the same way. The moment you chase it, you're scaring it, it's going to run away. The moment you want to grab it, catch it, you're challenging it, it's stronger than you. It's going to take you on. The moment you're rigid in your behavior and you refuse to be flexible in who you are, you're going to drown. The only real way of finding true abundance is realizing that sometimes you just need to be the full, glorious, wonderful, amazing you that you can be. So now people ask me, okay, but Dion, how do I make money from it? Well, it's quite simple. What is that amazing gift you have that's unique to you? You see, a caterpillar has an amazing gift. It's got 38 legs. It can walk anywhere. It can walk up a slippery, vertical slope sometimes. But a butterfly cannot. A butterfly can fly. A monkey can climb a tree, but it cannot swim underwater for hours. A fish can. Everything in this world has got a unique gift. And it's that unique gift, when you apply it, it becomes your wings that you can spread, and it takes you to glorious places. But the problem with that unique gift for most people is the fact that it is so obviously logical to you that you don't realize it's a gift. You see, true gifts are extremely easy to make manifest to those whom it was given to. Now you might sit there and say, but Dion, I don't have gifts. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And if you don't know what they are, ask your family, ask your friends, ask people that love you. What capability, skill, talent, and gift do I have? That when you notice it, you go, that's amazing, that's awesome, and that's unique. Because that whatever you have, what you've got, that is so unique, that's amazing, that's awesome, to you, it's normal. I love telling the story about a friend that I have. She used to work for me. And she's just this natural artist. She can take a piece of paper and a pencil, and she can just draw the most magnificent drawings in seconds. And I watched her, and I try and draw the same way, and I draw stickmen, and they look pathetic, and she giggles, and she says, but it's easy. And I said, no, it's not easy. It's easy to you, because to you, it's a natural gifting. You've applied it, you've practiced it. Those are your wings. You spread them, and you fly. My gift is taking concepts that's complex for most people, breaking them down and telling them in metaphorical stories to allow people to understand. That's my gift. And that's what I use to make my earning, to generate income. For me, I generate my wealth, financial wealth, through my natural gift. Now, there's a little key about your natural gift. There's a key to your natural gift. There's a need for it. I want to say that again. There is a need for it. See, there's a lot of people with beautiful, amazing gifts. But then they've got this false humility that tells them, nobody wants it, nobody's prepared to pay for it. Your uniqueness has got a value attached to it. And that value is magnificent. The only reason you haven't tapped into it is because you haven't admitted it to self. You're standing back, and you're standing back in a false form of humility, and you go, oh, I can't make a living from that. Well, in reality, you can. But you need to, I want to say this again, I think this is about the 6th time that I'm saying this in this last couple of minutes. You need to spread your wings in trust. Unconditional trust. And realize that when you spread your wings, there's a magnificent force that you cannot see, that you cannot control, that you cannot recreate, and it's called wind. And that'll lift you up and take you. I remember years ago, I loved windsurfing. I don't know if some of you guys have done windsurfing before. Basically, it's just a board, and you've got a sail. You just sort of strap yourself to it, stand up, and you hold onto this thing. So you go onto any place where there's water and wind. Those are the two components you need, water and wind. And you sail. And the one weekend, my wife and I and the kids, we went away for a weekend, and we went to this beautiful dam, beautiful place. And the wind was blowing perfectly. I got on the board, and I was windsurfing. I was sailing across this water. And I remember being in the middle of the dam. And all of a sudden, in a split second, the wind dropped. And the water became like glass. Have you ever seen it where a large volume of water, there's no wind, there's no ripple, there's nothing. It's like glass, solid glass ceiling. There was no wind whatsoever. So here I'm standing in the middle of this dam with this beautiful windsurfing board, with this magnificent big sail, but there's no wind. And it was in that moment I realized I can embrace the wind, I can harness the wind, I can utilize the wind, but I cannot control it, I cannot recreate it, I cannot make it. I can make it in a small scale, maybe with a fan, but it's not sustainable. You see, there are certain powers in this world, call it God, call it the universe, call it magnificent presence, whatever name you want to give it, that controls the outcome. The question is, are you prepared? Spread your wings. Take that amazing gift you've been given and step into that platform where you can fully trust, apply your gift, sit back, become vulnerable, and just know that something's great can happen. You see, people that live in abundance has got an awareness that there's abundance around us all over the world. There's an abundance of everything. There's more gold in this world than what we can use. There's more food than what we can eat. There's more houses than homeless people. There's more empty houses, than homeless people in this world. There is abundance of everything. There is no reason that any person in this world at the moment lives in any form of lack, except their own decisions and choices and behaviors. I want you to think about a bottle of water. Now, I'm sure each one of you guys have had a bottle of water in your hands, right? Now, what if you are at the ocean and you take that bottle of water and you walk into the ocean? But just before you walk in, you add a little bit of pollution to your bottle and you close the cap. And now you walk into the ocean. What is inside of your bottle? Water, but polluted water. What is around you? Massive volume, abundance of water. Sure, it's not drinkable water, it's salt water, but it's still water. Now, here's the thing. You see, most of us, when something happens in our lives, something that causes some level of pain, something that causes some level of fear, something that causes some level of anxiety, something that causes some level of stress or depression, we focus on what that was. We focus on the incident that caused that negative in life. That's that little bit of pollution in your bottle. See, when you pick up the bottle and you look at it, you've only got a little bit of water in there and it's polluted. What are you going to notice? You're going to notice the pollution, right? But here's the thing. We get so absolutely fixated. I'm going to say this again. We get so absolutely fixated on that little bit of pollution in your bottle that you forget about the magnificent abundance of everything and all the other water around you. So how do you get clean water into that bottle? Very simple. Unscrew the cap, you open it up, submerge it in water, let the clean water wash out the polluted water and fill it with clean water. How do you step into any form of abundance in your life? Quick key. Stop being fixated on the polluted areas. People that live in financial lack are fixated about the financial lack and the mistakes they've made in the past. People that live in a lack in relationships where there's not enough love are fixated on their hearts being broken and the bad relationships of the past. People that live in a lack of joy are fixated on the things that have stolen the joy in the past. Maybe it was a knife that was stabbed in your back. Maybe something happened physically, emotionally, whatever it was. But there's a fixation on the negative, and that's pollution to abundance. See, abundance doesn't like that kind of competition. Abundance is merely what it is, but if you're fixated on that little bit of negative, you are blinding yourself completely to the magnificent possibilities of everything that's around you. I'll give the story in a different way. Let's assume for a moment you're standing outside. There's more than enough oxygen around you in the air. There's an abundance of oxygen. And I take, oh, don't worry, I won't really do this. And I take a plastic bag and I put it over your head. Where is your immediate focus going to go? Your immediate focus is going to go to the fact that in that moment you cannot breathe. And your entire being will become anxious, stressful, and fearful because you can't breathe. There's a plastic bag over your head. So here's the key. Where's your focus? Your focus is not on the abundance of air around you. Your focus is on the plastic bag. And what we tend to do is our behavior, our physical response, very often is in direct relationship with what's happening around us. So what do? We start grabbing at the brag, we start going crazy. Some people might even start running, some people might try and scream, but there's no logic, there's no calmness in the brain. You know what's the easiest thing to do when you have a bag over your face and you want to breathe? Just punch a hole in it. Because the brain goes frantic, there's no calmness to be able to think about that. See, the moment you punch a hole in it, you can breathe. Back to the abundance. The abundance has always been there. So even though you've got the bag over your face, the fact that there's abundance of oxygen is irrelevant. The abundance of oxygen hasn't changed. Now here's the key. If you live in poverty, if you live in lack, you know what happens? You start getting frantic. You start grabbing at things. You start doing all kinds of physical behaviors and responses. You start allowing internal dialogues going through your brain. You start doing everything and you start burning unnecessary energy instead of realizing, hold on a second, there is abundance. And there's usually a very short single step between you and stepping into that abundance. And sometimes it's just punching a hole in the bag. Sometimes it's just opening a cap of the bottle. Sometimes it's just spreading your wings in faith and trust and allowing your amazing gifts to start to manifest. But when we go into a frantic state of fear, we can't embrace abundance. Because now we're chasing the negatives. Now we're focused on what's wrong. And what's right says, well, you don't give me attention, I won't give you attention. We don't give the wind. You see, if I stood on the middle of the dam when I was windsurfing, and the wind dropped, and I went into panic, I would have most probably dropped the sail and I would have tried to swim to the shore, but it was way too far. So I probably would have drowned. So what did I do? Relaxed. You know what happens? The wind came back. So just because the wind in your life has dipped for a moment, doesn't mean the abundance of wind in this world has left the planet. The wind will blow again. The rain will come again. The crops will grow again. You can step into love again. You will find joy again. Wealth will come around again. Health is inside of your grasp. But unless you trust the process and unless you step into your own gifts, it's going to run away. You're going to go into frantic states, you're going to go into negative thoughts, and you're going to notice you can't get hold of it. Does it make sense, guys? I run a business. I've been running my own business for many, many years. I've been a serial entrepreneur most of my life. And I remember many months, some of them quite recent. We come around this time of the month, where are we now? About the 20th, between 20th and 25th. I look at my bank balance and I go, this ain't enough. Now, what do most people do when you get there? They go into states of desperation. You know what I've taught myself? Be calm. The wind will come again. Relax. It's more than enough in this world. I stopped chasing. Remember when I started, I told you a story about my dog? And I said, I love my dog, loves me. I love my dog. She's my shadow. She's always with me. But if I get there quickly and I start chasing her, she's going to run away. How do I get her to come to me? Very easy. I sit down calmly. I open my arms. And I show her openness and embracing. That's when she comes. I want you to hear that word. That's when she comes to me. You want abundance to come to you? Relax. Step into your great gifts. Be flexible in your behavior. Trust it. Submit to it. Apply courage, sustainability, and it'll come. Now, this is a switch inside of your brain. And the moment that switch flips, things happen. But as long as you live in that frantic state of fear and chasing and constantly saying, I don't know what's wrong with me, you're chasing it, you're scaring it. It's going to come. Relax. Embrace. Allow it to come to you. Abundance is not something that's sitting there waiting for you to come to it. You can't. It comes to you. And you need to realize it. And you need to be in a position that when it does come, that your arms are open. And the open arms is the same as the butterfly that spreads its wings and flies. The open arms symbolizes spreading yourself in your own magnificence and opening yourself up to the greatness that this world and this life has to offer. Because this world we live in has got more love than what you can handle. This world we live in has got more joy than you can cope with. This world we live in has got more potential for your health than you've ever dreamed of. This world we live in has got more abundance than you can outspend. So what is the difference between you being in lack and you being in abundance? Simple. Stop fighting it. Learn to embrace it. Allow it to come. It wants to be. My dog wants to be with me. But if I chase her, she's going to run. If I'm relaxed, calm, open my arms, she comes. Abundance works in the same way.